Newton's laws of motion. So Newton's laws of motion describes the motion of the body. So we have three Newton laws of motion. The first one, Newton's first law of motion. Newton's first law of motion. So what it states, Newton's first law of motion, right? For example, imagine this body. Imagine this body, right? The body at rest position. What do you mean by the rest position? Rest position means the position of body remains same at given time. Means time is going on, but the position of body remains same. No change in the position of the body. Then it's said to be rest position. Now I'm not applying any force. Any external force is not applied on the body. Not any external force applied on the body. Then what is the position of the body? It remains same. No change in the position after 1 day, after 2 days, after 1 year, after 10 years. When you are not applying the external force. When applying the external force, the position of body is going to be changed. So same thing it explains. Newton's first law of motion. Unless the external force is applied, the external force is not applied on the body, then the position of the body remains same. Position of the body means if the body at rest position continues the same rest position. If the body in the uniform motion means having same velocity, constant velocity, it continues the same uniform motion. So it is a statement of Newton's first law of motion. Until the external force acting on the body, the position of the body remains same. Means at rest position continues the same, uniform motion continues the same position, right? And this Newton law of motion describes two parameters, that is inertia of the body, and it gives the idea about the force. It gives the idea about the force and it explains the inertia. What is inertia? The property of the body, unless the force is not acting, remains the same position. That is called as inertia. Inertia is a property of the body. Is a property of the body. When force is not applied, continues the same position. It likes the same position when the force is not applied. So that is called as inertia and gives the idea about the force. Force idea explains this first law of motion. So the body at rest, not applying any force. If applies, what happens? What happens? The position is going to be changed. So the concept or the force or the idea about the force, it explains this first law of motion, right? So this is Newton's first law of motion. Inertia, we have three types of inertia. Inertia at rest, inertia at rest, inertia in motion, inertia in direction. Inertia in direction. A body at rest position continues the same rest position, so that is inertia at rest. If the body in the uniform motion, right, it continues the same position, that is inertia in motion. Inertia in direction. For example, you are traveling in a car or traveling in a bus in a curved road, your body is going to be bent like in this direction, because your body is already in rest position. When it is in the motion in the curved road, the body is going to bend a little bit. That is nothing but inertia in direction, right? And gives the concept or the idea about the force. This is Newton's first law of motion. Now, before coming to second law of motion, we will discuss about momentum, linear momentum. Then we will go about Newton's second law of motion. Momentum or linear momentum. Linear momentum, it present with the P. P is a linear momentum, as a vector you can indicate with the P bar also. So what is linear momentum? For example, the body having mass here, it moving with velocity v. Then the momentum of the body written as the product of mass and its velocity. The product of mass of body and its velocity is called as linear momentum. If we write the unit of this linear momentum, mass it is kg, velocity unit it is Yes, meter per second. So kg meter per second. And dimensional formula. What is the dimensional formula of this linear momentum? Mass, it is m. Velocity, lt minus 1. So this is the dimensional formula of this linear momentum. Okay. See the linear momentum in different cases. What happens? If body at rest. At rest means what is the velocity? Exactly 0. The momentum becomes mass into velocity. Mass, no change, not equal to 0, but velocity is 0. So m into 0, it is equals to 0. The momentum of body at rest, it is equals to 0. If body, it is in motion with velocity v, then momentum equal to mv. The body is in motion with velocity v, then momentum p equal to mv. Right? See, this is a wall. The water, just imagine the water strikes on the wall with velocity v. Strikes, and after strikes, it falls dead. Like this, falls dead. Okay, not rebounds. It falls dead. First case. Then what is the momentum? Initial momentum is mass into velocity. Final momentum is falls dead, right? So 0. The change in momentum can be written as delta p equal to final momentum minus of initial momentum. What is the final momentum? 0. Minus of initial momentum is mv. So the change in momentum can be written as minus mv. This is a change in momentum. Momentum towards the x-axis. Change in momentum towards the negative x-axis. Remember, momentum is positive x-axis. Change in momentum is negative x-axis. Next, if rebounds, what happens? Mass of water is m, strikes the wall with velocity v and rebounds with the same velocity, then what is the change in momentum? Just imagine what happens to the change in momentum. Let me write the initial momentum. Pi, initial momentum, mass into velocity. Okay. Final momentum, rebounds with the same velocity. So again m into v. Now writing change in momentum. Final minus of initial. Final is mv. Initial is mv, but in opposite direction taken as minus. Okay. Then change in momentum equal to minus of minus plus mv plus mv is equals to 2mv. This is the change in momentum when the water it is rebounds back. If the water with the different velocities, if it is different velocities, strikes the wall with velocity v1 and rebound with velocity v2. Now initial momentum pi equal to mv1, final momentum it is mv2. Is it right? Okay. Now change in momentum p delta p equal to final minus of initial mv2 minus opposite direction minus mv1. So it is m of v2 plus v1. This is with different velocities. Okay, any doubts? Now one more concept. The water, this is normal drawn to the plane. The water strikes with angle theta with normal, normal to the wall, not with wall, normal to the wall. Then what happens? With the velocity v and rebounds with the same velocity and with the normal again same theta for easy consideration. Then what happens? this velocity resolving into two components, okay, horizontal component as well as vertical. Vertical component it is v sin theta, horizontal component it is v cos theta. When strikes, rebounds with same velocity, again resolving into two components, same v sin theta, perpendicular component, and horizontal component is v cos theta. No change in the perpendicular component, only change in the horizontal component v cos theta and opposite v cos theta. Then change in momentum. Yes, tell me how it can write. Delta P equal to 2 mv cos theta. Final minus of initial. Final is mv cos theta. Initial is mv cos theta. Final also same mv cos theta. And both are opposite to each other. So 2 mv cos theta, just like this one, 2 mv. If angle with wall, if it is angle with wall, theta is given, then what happens? The change in momentum delta P equal to 2 mv sin theta instead of cos. Now the horizontal component becomes sine, so therefore delta P equal to 2 mv sin theta. So this is about momentum and few applications of this momentum. Now coming to the second law of motion, Newton's second law of motion. So what it states? The first law gives the idea about the force, and the second law gives the equation of the force. Equation of the force. Newton's second law of motion. Newton's second law of motion. So what it states? For example, the body of mass m moving with velocity v. Okay. For example, initial velocity is taken as u. Now applying some external force F is applied on the body, then the velocity changes from u to v. What is the change in momentum? Initial momentum is mu. Final momentum is mv. Change in momentum becomes delta P equal to final minus initial, that is v minus u. Okay. Now see what happens. According to the second law of motion, the external force applied on the body is directly proportional to change in the force is directly proportional to dp by dt. P is the momentum. Momentum formula already we know, that is F is equal to some constant is taken as k, d by dt P, or you can write as mv also, mass into velocity. Okay. The value of constant it is equals to 1 based on dimensions. So the force becomes F is equals to d by dt of m into v. This is the force expression according to the Newton's second law of motion. First law of motion gives the idea about the force. Second law is the equation of the force. If, since there are some special cases, case 1. If body moves with constant velocity, v is constant, nothing but acceleration is equals to 0. Then what happens? The force F is equals to m dv by dt, but v is constant, d by dt of some constant value equal to 0. Then force acting on the body equal to 0. Case 1. Second, if velocity is going to variable, it's a variable velocity, means velocity is now not a constant, some having acceleration a, then F is equal to m dv by dt. dv by dt, variable velocity, rate of change of velocity is known as acceleration. So F is equals to ma. This is equation of the force, F equal to ma. Third, if variable mass is going to be changed, variable mass, then what happens? The equation F is equals to, V is taken out, so F is equal to V of dm by dt, variable mass. The best example for variable mass, it is rocket system. The rocket, it is launched, right, from the space center, having different mass, is completely fluid chambers. When rises some height, the mass of the rocket or the fuel is going to be decreases. So it's one of the best example for the variable mass system. So mass, it is variable, then force acting on the body, F is equals to B dm by dt. This is second law of motion and equation of the force and different applications. Any doubts? Okay. Now the third law of motion, Newton's third law of motion. First law, concept of force. Second law, equation of force. Third law deals with multiple forces. Third law of motion. For example, you hit the ball towards the wall, hitting the wall with a ball. Just simply you throw a ball towards the wall, it rebounds back. Now means you are applying the force, action, and ball shoots towards you, reaction. Okay, action as well as reaction. Every action in the universe has equal and opposite reaction. So action and reaction pairs, action and reaction, force and opposite equal magnitude, one more force. This action and reaction force do not act on the same body, do not act on same body. Remember, this action and reaction, you are showing the action towards the wall and wall showing towards the ball, it is reaction. Reaction. You are walking on the ground, you are stepping on the ground, that is the action, and ground showing the reaction. So action and reaction pairs acts on different bodies, then only movement is possible. Acts on different bodies, then only motion is possible. Motion is possible. If acts on same body, motion is not possible, because net force is equal to 0. Net force is 0 means no motion of the body. Remember, acts on different body, then only motion of the body is possible, right? So this is Newton's third law of motion. Based on this Newton's third law of motion, we will discuss about conservation of linear momentum. Conservation of linear momentum. Conservation of linear momentum. What it states, conservation of linear momentum. Right now we discussed about Newton's second law of motion, the force F is equals to dp by dt. If the force acting on the body is 0, no external force acting on the body is F is 0, then 0 is equals to dp by dt. Is it clear? dp equal to 0. dp means change in momentum is 0. Change in means final minus initial equal to 0. That is nothing but initial momentum is same as final momentum, means momentum of the body remains constant. When it is constant, when external force is 0, no force acting on the body, then the momentum of the system remains constant. This is conservation of linear momentum. Based on this conservation of momentum, maybe one question come in the examination. See some applications. See some applications of this conservation of linear momentum. See, for example, you are firing a bullet from the gun. Right, this is the gun. and this is the bullet inside the gun. Mass of gun it is m, and mass of bullet is taken as small m. Before firing, see, when you're firing this gun, you can see in the movies also, the head of this gun, it is kept on the shoulder. By using the support of the shoulder, it's firing. When it is firing, what happens? The bullet, it moves with velocity u. Bullet is moved with velocity, let us say small u. The bullet it is firing, and gun it is going to be move little back. The gun it is moved backward direction. Backward direction, that is called as recoil. Recoil, moving backward when firing the bullet, that is called as recoil, or recoil velocity of the gun. What is the recoil velocity of the gun? See, before firing, initial momentum is 0 because at rest, no firing. After firing, momentum, find total momentum is equals to momentum of the bullet as well as momentum of the gun. That is m into v, recoil velocity of the gun, and momentum of the bullet it is mu. According to the conservation of linear momentum, initial momentum is equals to final. Initial is 0, final it is mv plus mu. We need recoil velocity, how much the gun it is moved backward. So mv equal to minus mu, v equal to minus mu by m. Okay, so recoil velocity equal to minus mu by m. Minus indicates backward direction. One more point, the recoil velocity of the gun is inversely proportional to mass of the gun. One question is asked like this: a heavy rifle and light rifle. Two rifles are there. First one is a light rifle, and second is a heavy rifle. Two rifles are there, masses are different, and using same cartridges, same bullets are used in light and as well as heavy rifle. And find which rifle is having more recoil velocity, light rifle or heavy or both. Remember, just now I discussed velocity is inversely proportional to mass of the rifle. So heavy rifle, less recoil, velocity is less. Light rifle, velocity is more. So therefore, light rifle recoils more. Recoil velocity inversely proportional to velocity of the mass of the rifle. Remember this point. So one of the application. Now one more application. Explosion of bomb. Bomb explosion. Bomb at rest position, no explosion. No explosion means momentum, initial momentum equal to 0, and explodes into two pieces having different or equal, whatever it may be. I am taking unequal masses, split into two parts, two pieces, m1 as well as m2, with velocities u1 as well as u2. After explosion, momentum is equals to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. According to conservation of momentum, initial momentum is equals to final, because no external force acting upon the bomb. The explosion simply due to internal forces. So the momentum, initial momentum equal to final momentum, that is 0 equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2. Therefore, m1 u1 equal to minus m2 u2. The momentum of the first piece equal to momentum of the second piece, but in opposite direction. Momentum of first piece is equals to second piece, but in opposite direction. Means if the first piece moving along the positive x-axis, the second piece moves along negative x-axis. Both are opposite to each other. Positive x-axis if it is moves, second piece going to do negative x-axis. If it is The first piece moving along the positive y-axis. Now tell me the second piece, it moves in along, yes, negative y-axis. Both are opposite to each other. So this is explosion of bomb explodes into two pieces. If it is explodes into three pieces, what happens? Explodes into three pieces. The question, it is based on this explosion of bomb into three pieces only, maximum. Explosion of three pieces. The first piece having mass m1 with velocity u1. Second piece mass it is m2, its velocity u2. And third piece mass m3 with u3. Okay, so angle between the first two pieces, it is taken as theta. The momentum of first piece is p1 and this is p2 and this is p3. Total momentum remains same. Initial momentum is 0 equal final momentum p1 plus p2 plus p3. Okay, so I'm writing the p3 value, that is p3 is equals to P3 equals to, I am writing here, that is minus of P1 plus P2, the final momentum of the third piece. That is momentum M3 U3 equal to first piece M1 U1 whole square, second M2 U2 whole square, and that is 2 M1 U1 M2 U2 cos theta. Is applying the vectors representation, that is P3 square equal to P1 square plus P2 square plus 2 P1 P2 cos theta. Based on that, we will derive the third piece momentum, that is P3 square or P3 equal to root over P1 square plus P2 square plus 2 P1 P2 cos theta. This is vector representation, total momentum equal to 0. I am calculating the magnitude of the third piece momentum, P3 equal to root over P1 square plus P2 square plus 2 P1 P2 cos theta. Based on parallelogram of vectors, two vectors acting from same point, so same concept only applying here. So the magnitude of the third piece becomes P3 equal to root over P1 square plus P2 square plus 2 P1 P2 cos theta. This is the magnitude. And direction, that is alpha is a resultant direction, alpha is a resultant direction with first piece, that is P2 tan inverse of, or here we can write tan here only, tan alpha equal to P2 sin theta by P1 plus P2 cos theta. So this is the resultant direction of the third piece. So these are the applications of conservation of momentum, right? Now see some more applications from the Newton's law of motion. Right? A person, it is in elevator. Person in a elevator. What about its apparent weight? How the apparent weight is going to be changed? This is the elevator. The person is in the elevator, and elevator at rest. At rest. So how many force acting on the body? First one, weight of the body. Weight is always act downwards, mg, and normal force, it is n. A person contact with surface, normal force will act, that is n, mg. So we are representing the force in the given system, that is known as free body diagram. Free body diagram or force body diagram. How many force and which direction it is going to be act, represent by using of FBD, free body diagram. So on this person, two forces are acting. The person indicating the point mg, and normal force, it is n. At rest, no velocity, no acceleration, then force in upward direction is equal to downward direction, then N is equals to mg. N is a normal reaction or apparent weight. Mg is an actual weight. At rest, the apparent weight equal to actual weight. Case 1. If the elevator, it is moving up, moving up with acceleration A. So again, how many force acting on the body? First one, weight of the body, which is mg, and as well as normal force, it is N. The body or the elevator is moving up. Elevator is moving up or retarding down. See the question carefully. Instead of moving up, sometimes he mentioned retarding down also. Then the net force can be written as F net equal to moving up. So normal force is greater than the actual weight. Force equation F equal to ma, N minus mg, then N equal to mg plus ma. Now m is taken as a common, that is g plus a. In this case, the apparent weight is greater than actual weight when the lift it is moving up. For example, the person weighs 70 kg, it shows 875, more than 70 it shows when the lift it is moving up or retarding down. If the lift it is moving down or retarding up, then how many force? Again normal force, weight of the person mg, okay, then F net. Now it is moving down, so mg is greater than normal force, that is ma net force, mg minus n, then n equal to mg minus of ma, that is g minus a. In this case, the apparent weight is less than actual weight when lift it is moving down. For example, it is 70 kg, now it rates less than 70. 69, 68, different, depends upon, right? Depends upon acceleration, the weight is going to be changed. So if fourth case, I'm writing here, the acceleration of the elevator equal to gravity. That's what free falling. It's a free falling. A equal to g minus g equal to 0. The normal force or apparent weight of the person equal to 0 when the elevator it is free falling. Okay? Thank you.